G'day everyone, welcome to this edition of DURKO's Notebook for the 2025 Las Vegas Grand Prix. It was an action-packed weekend, one to forget for some. Plenty to talk about, so pull up a pew, sit back, relax and enjoy the show.
You wouldn't fucking read about it.
So as the F1 circuits returned to Las Vegas for the third time and the larger Las Vegas circuit down the strip, it certainly brought back the gremlins of previous races. That being the manhole cover that we saw witness to in Free Practice 2, which caused a heap of red flags. And obviously overnight or during the course of the day when the circuit wasn't being used, they were able to weld it again. Now, it was interesting to know that both the Alpines and the Aston Martins were quick during Free Practice, but that tended to taper off a bit later in quali in the race. But they showed some good pace at least. Now, the interesting thing was, obviously, in quali, it was wet and shitloads of mist, like virtually no grip. It was just amazing to watch the cars slip and slide around that circuit, trying to find any grip they could. Now, I made the call who's going to go in for Inters, and of course, Aston Martin called Stroll in to go for Inters, and that was probably the worst decision they could have come up with because it cost him a potential top 10 or place on the grid at least. But Hamilton had a shocker because he just couldn't dial his tyres in and he only got 20th. So the race itself was interesting. One person said it was boring. I don't know what race they watched, but I certainly found it quite entertaining. Now the first corner incident, obviously, I'm putting Lawson completely at fault for that incident going to the side of Piastri. I don't know how the stewards found there was nothing wrong at all. That was just a completely bizarre and stupid dickhead decision by them to say there was nothing at fault because Lawson locked up and just went straight to the side of Piastri. And Piastri had nowhere to go, but thankfully he had no damage from it. Now, of course, Bortoletto had the stuff up of the race being bought a pedo, and he just barreled straight to the middle of the crowd and said, "Hey, I'm coming 10-pin bowling style." And it was race over for Stroll, obviously, and then Albon retired as well. But the real race throughout the course of it all was for the jostle for positions 4, 5 and 6. And it was great to watch Antonelli and Piastri and Leclerc fighting for positions. And I thought it was great to watch, and it was good because it came down to tyre strategy, whether the hard's going to last, whether the medium's going to last. So it was a great result. Now, Hamilton, I've got to give credit to him. He's come back from the bleachers to obviously get into the points, which was a good result for him considering the shit time he's had in Brazil. And with the Ferrari boss blasting him and Leclerc saying they need to just shut up and start driving. Not a happy place at Maranello. So obviously the end of the race, and Verstappen picked up on this motor radio comment that he thought Norris had a problem with his car. Now, we immediately thought it was fuel. Is he low on fuel? Is he getting enough for a sample at the end of it? But it turns out it was the plank that was the issue that was playing up, and it breached the thickness level minimum requirement. Yes, people booed about it. I'm not too happy. But the rules are the rules, and apparently they've tested all the point-scoring cars at Vegas and found the two McLarens were in breach, hence disqualification for Norris and Piastri. Nothing can be done about it. Rules are rules, and you've got to stick to them. Now, some people, of course, have thrown the spanner in the works and come out with their conspiracy theory. They've had their crystal ball going and said, well, this is the FIA just trying to get Maxi's 5th title, and it's complete construction of a result, and blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Doesn't suit my criteria, outlook on life. I don't agree with it. Well, those people need to wake up to themselves and realise that maybe motorsport's not for them, and the pinnacle of motorsport being Formula 1 with the high regulations and so forth that are required to keep the sport going. And I should certainly suggest that you would take up knitting as a hobby rather than watching motorsport, because if you miss a stitch, it's right in front of you and you can fix it yourself. Because you aren't the FIA and you don't design the rule book, which the teams have to stick to. Rules are rules. We move on. Hamilton's been disqualified before. Other cars get disqualified for fuel samples or all sorts of shit. So there's nothing that can be done about it now. It's over and done with. They've lost all their points. Piastri and Max are now equal on points. And we'll just have to see how Qatar pans out and then Abu Dhabi. So it's going to be interesting. That's all I've got to say. Great weekend. The Vegas circuit is growing on me. I'm starting to like it more and more. The speed, the racing is great. It's better than what I expected 3 races ago when they first went there. So I'll be back next week for Qatar. Until then, I'll say thanks for watching. Bye-bye.